Numeral Tracks a lot with my kiddos. And I'm going to show you a couple different versions of it. My favorite way to make a numeral track is just to, hold it up this way, maybe you can see it a little better, is just to take this virtual background is rough. But what this is just a folder, just a file folder. And I've just marked it off the windows and just cut them so they would open. And I like to have 5 is what I like to have. And then I just took sentence strips. And when I was in the classroom, I did laminate those because they were used a lot. Because we changed them in and out a lot. So I just used a sentence strip. I'm going to lay this down here and show you what we did with numeral tracks. So, first of all, we would just start 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to pull it down here. 4, 5. Okay, what do you notice I've done with my numerals? What do you think my kiddos are still working on?
Counting.
Yes.
The quantitative part.
Exactly. I'm trying to link the verbal, the quantitative, and the symbolic. We're saying it, we're seeing the quantity, and we're linking it with the symbol. So this is how you, whenever you've got little ones that just can't understand, don't get those symbols. They can't remember what a 6 looks like. They can't remember what a 3 looks like. It's because they need this. They've got to link it all together. So this is just, I mean, you can do that on anything. I took my dice and I would make the dot pattern on my dice as well for the ones that needed it. You know, these are you can buy these super cheap, just the blank ones at the Dollar Tree, and just make your little dots and put your symbols with it too. Anything that you can think of, if they're having trouble, anytime you use a symbol, put the quantity with it until they're ready to get rid of it. And then whenever they don't need it anymore, they won't use it. I'm a firm believer in that. Kids do not want to be enabled. They want to do it on their own. But we have to help them until they can get to that point.
Miss Vonda, I just want to share for a moment. When I had students in my classroom, I used a bead string a lot. And that's so true that they don't use that after they don't need it. They may use it sometimes as a comfort. It may be like a blanket that they carry around, but they'll go get it and then it just sits there on their desk. They really don't use it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. You are so right. They will. They'll weed it away themselves if we just don't make a big deal out of it. Sometimes I think that's what hurts the most is we make a big deal out of things. But I want to show you, let me put this next one in and show you how I would use this with my kids that were having trouble with the decades, crossing that decade. So first of all, we would just start out counting. And we would count, okay, this is 28, 29. Of course, they're doing this for me. 30, 31, 32. And then we close it back up and we would go backwards. 32, 31, oops, 30, 29, 28. And we close it back up. And then we would open up this window. And I'd say, okay, so what do you think's under this window? So I'm working on the 4s. So let's say 28. So we check, and then I'd say, well, what do you think's under this window? We leave this one open. What do you think's under this window? And hopefully they could get me 30. But sometimes they struggle. They really struggle with going across that decade. So you can work on befores and afters with the numeral track as well. And of course, I had all of these. I had all my decades. I started at 38 to work on crossing into 40. I started at 48 to work on crossing into 50. So I had all my little decade strips for my kiddos that needed to work on that. And of course we did befores and afters as well with it. So this is a handy dandy tool. You can make it with just plain little old file folder and some sentence strips. And you'll get lots of use out of it.